Hello everybody, welcome to Transeo Learning Chemistry videos, and today we are going to discuss about the organic mechanisms, and in that we are going to understand the rule as well as the concept of Markovnikov's rule. So let's start. Before understanding Markovnikov's rule, we should understand the following concept. We should know about alkenes, about symmetrical alkenes and unsymmetrical alkenes, about more alkylated alkenes and the less alkylated alkenes, more alkylated and less alkylated carbon atoms, then what is Markovnikov's rule, and then the conditions necessary for Markovnikov's rule, and then how inductive and electromeric effects are used in the Markovnikov's rule. Then the Markovnikov's rule mechanism, that means the generation and attack of electrophile and the nucleophile. So let's start. First of all, what is an alkene? The compounds which belongs to the family of hydrocarbons with carbon-carbon double bond, those are known as alkenes, and alkenes are unsaturated hydrocarbons. So alkenes are the hydrocarbons with double bond attached to the carbon atoms, and the general formula of alkenes is CnH2n. Details about the alkenes I have explained in the other video. So here we are going to do just the introduction to understand Markovnikov's rule. So here you can see ethene, and as per the general formula, the formula for the alkene is C2H4. Here this is but2ene. That means at the second carbon atom the double bond is attached here, so that is why we have written but2ene. That means the position of the double bond is with the second carbon atom, and this is also formulas will be C4H8 as per this general formula CnH2n. So now, what are symmetrical and unsymmetrical alkenes? The compounds which have same number of substituents on both sides of the double bond. So you can see here that this is a double bond and you have same number of substituents. That means if I consider this as left hand side and the right hand side of the double bond, here we have one carbon atom, here we have one carbon atom. This results in identical as well as the balanced structure. Now you can see here but2ene. So if I consider this as the left hand side of the double bond and this is the right hand side of the double bond, so here we have two carbon atoms, and on the right hand side also we have two carbon atoms. So these kinds of structures are known as symmetrical structures, and this is an example of symmetrical alkenes. Now let us understand the unsymmetrical alkenes, the compounds which have different or uneven number of substituents on both sides of the double bond. This result in structure which is not identical and unbalanced. So you can see here this is the double bond, and if I consider this is the left hand side and this is the right hand side, so you can see here there are uneven number of carbon atoms. On the right hand side we just have one carbon atom, and on the left hand side we have the two carbon atoms. Similarly in but1ene, here the position of the double bond is with the first carbon atom. So this is 2, 3 and 4. There are total 4 carbon atoms, and the position of the double bond is with the first carbon atom. Here if I consider the left hand side of the double bond, that is we have one carbon atom, and on the right hand side we have two carbon atom. So this is an unsymmetrical alkenes. Now you must be thinking why I'm explaining you about the symmetrical and the unsymmetrical alkenes. The reason is that the Markovnikov's rule is shown by the unsymmetrical alkenes and not by the symmetrical alkenes. And what is the reason behind it? For that we should know about the symmetrical and the unsymmetrical alkenes. Now, less and more alkylated alkenes. This is also very important to understand the mechanism of Markovnikov's rule. So, more alkylated alkenes, the alkene with more number of alkyl groups attached to the double bond. So again, if I see here double bond here, this is but1ene. On the left hand side, we have just one carbon atom attached to the double bond. But if we see on the right hand side of the carbon atom which is attached to the double bond, we have two alkyl groups attached to it. So this carbon atom is more alkylated. and this is more alkylated alkene. Whereas in this case, if you see here that this is the carbon atom on the right hand side and this is the carbon atom on the left hand side, and you can see here there are less number of alkyl groups, so this is less alkylated alkene. Here you can see that with the carbon atom on the right hand side of the double bond, there are two alkyl groups. So this but1-ene is more alkylated, whereas here you just have one alkyl group. So this is less alkylated alkene. Now we know about the more alkylated and the less alkylated alkene. Now understand the most important part, more alkylated carbon atom and less alkylated carbon atom, because we are going to use this when I'm explaining you the Markovnikov's rule. So more alkylated carbon atom, the double bonded carbon atom with more number of alkyl groups attached to it. So here you can see this is the double bond and this is the carbon on the left hand side and this is the carbon on the right hand side. With the right hand side we have two alkyl groups attached to it. So that means this is more alkylated carbon, whereas the left hand side one is the less alkylated carbon atom. Now, let us consider another example, prop1-ene. So here, this is the double bond, and on the right hand side, we have one carbon atom with no alkyl groups attached to it. Whereas on the left hand side, you can see there is one alkyl group attached to it. So the carbon atom on this left hand side is more alkylated, and this one on the right hand side is the less alkylated. So now we know the basic terms, what is meant by more alkylated carbon atom and the less alkylated carbon atom. Now let us understand what is Markovnikov's rule. Markovnikov's rule states that during addition to unsymmetrical alkenes, I'll tell you the reason when I'm going to discuss about the conditions which are necessary for Markovnikov's rule. I'm going to explain why unsymmetrical alkenes are needed for the Markovnikov's rule. So the Markovnikov's rule states that during addition to unsymmetrical alkene, the negative part, that is a nucleophile, I'm going to explain that also, what is a nucleophile, of the adding molecule goes to the carbon atom with lesser number of hydrogen atom, or we can say more alkylated carbon atom, while the positive part, that is an electrophile, goes to the other carbon atom with more number of hydrogen atom or less alkylated carbon atom. So you can see here, this is just the reaction I have written in short. I'm going to explain you the detailed mechanism of this reaction. So what I'm trying to say here, that this hydrogen is partial positive charge and this will be partial negative charge. When the heterolysis cleavage will take place, this will become positively charged and this will become negatively charged. So H plus ion will act like an electrophile, and the X negative, which is an halogen, it can be chlorine or bromine, is going to act like a nucleophile. So what I'm trying to say, that here, first of all, the positive part, that is the electrophile, goes to the other carbon atom with more number of hydrogen atom or less alkylated carbon atom. So you can see here, this is the double bond. This has one hydrogen atom and this has two hydrogen atom. So the electrophile will go to the carbon atom which has more number of hydrogen atom, whereas the negative part will go which has the less number of hydrogen atom. This carbon atom is more alkylated because it has alkyl group attached to it. So we can see here that the negative part is going to the more alkylated carbon atom, the other way to understand this, whereas the positive part is going to the less alkylated carbon atom. Right. So there are two ways of understanding. Either you understand in terms of the hydrogen atom or you understand in terms of the more alkylated carbon atom. So now I'll tell you a technique of learning this concept so that you understand it well. So the technique for learning, memorizing the Markovnikov's rule is that richer gets richer. Now when we are going to consider richer gets richer, we are going to consider in terms of the hydrogen atom. So how you're going to understand that this is your H plus ion and this is your halogen negative ion, right? Richer gets richer. That means the hydrogen will go to the carbon atom which has more number of hydrogen atoms, and the halogen will go to the carbon atom which has less number of hydrogen atoms. Richer gets richer, we are going to consider in terms of the hydrogen atom. That means the hydrogen ion, which is produced from the polar hydrogen halide, will go to the carbon atom which has more number of hydrogen atoms. That means the richer gets richer. This results in the formation of two products. The major product is the secondary alkyl halide and the minor product is the primary alkyl halide. This is the secondary alkyl halide, what we call it as 2 degree, and this is the primary alkyl halide. That is what we call it as 1 degree. This reaction is also known as hydrogen-halogen reaction, right? So now, in case you want to understand in terms of the more alkylated or the less alkylated, then again, you can refer what I have taught you earlier. But in case you want a short technique and a quick technique, then remember richer gets richer. That means the hydrogen ion will go to the carbon atom which is attached to the double bond which has more number of hydrogen atoms. That's it. And the halogen will go to the other carbon atom. That is a easy technique. You can do the questions related to the Markovnikov's rule. The conditions necessary for the Markovnikov's rule. So the two conditions which are necessary for the Markovnikov's rule is the presence of unsymmetrical alkene and the presence of polar covalent hydrogen halide. So let's see how the presence of these two parameters is necessary for the mechanism of Markovnikov's rule. So the first, presence of unsymmetrical alkene. Let us consider that the alkene is not unsymmetrical, it is a symmetrical alkene. Now what will happen? If the alkene is symmetrical alkyl substituted, a mixture of isomers will be produced as the product. You can see here that the mixture of isomers is produced in the Markovnikov's rule with the unsymmetrical alkene. But in the case of the symmetrical alkenes, due to the symmetrical property, both the isomers will be identical and practically only one product is formed. So the symmetrical alkenes do not follow Markovnikov's rule. Now let us understand this with the help of an example. I have taken a symmetrical alkene, that is 2-butene. Addition of the hydrogen bromide to butene gives only one product, that is 2-bromobutane. As 2-butene is a symmetrical alkene, it does not follow Markovnikov's rule. So you can see here that if I add this HBr to the symmetrical alkene 2-butene, here we have H plus ion and the bromide ion. So in this case, we consider this as left carbon and this as a right hand side carbon. So in the first case, if I consider the hydrogen getting added to the right hand side carbon atom, because here in this case the concept of richer and richer won't go because both the hydrogen atoms are same, and the bromine will get attached to the left hand side carbon atom. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 and 4, 2-bromobutane. Now let us consider the second example in which I am considering that the hydrogen ion is going to attach to the left hand side carbon atom and the bromide ion is going to get attached to the right hand side carbon atom of the double bond. This is left hand side and the right hand side. Again, as per the IUPAC name, I have to give the least number to the substituent attached to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I will get 2-bromobutane. Both the isomers are same. So the symmetrical alkenes do not follow Markovnikov's rule. Now, the presence of unsymmetrical alkenes. If the alkene is unsymmetrically alkyl substituted, then the Markovnikov's rule can be applied, and in the major product, the halogen will be bonded to more alkylated carbon atom. That means having lesser number of hydrogen atoms. So there are two ways of learning this. If you consider one part more alkylated carbon atom, then in that case, that carbon atom which is more alkylated will have less number of hydrogen atoms. And if you consider the second case, that the less alkylated carbon atom, that will have more number of hydrogen atoms attached to it. So now it's up to you how you want to learn. In the first case, if you want to consider richer gets richer. So quickly, this hydrogen will go to the carbon atom which has more number of hydrogen atoms, and the halogen will go to the other carbon atom. So in this case, you are going to get the more alkylated halide, which is a 2-degree alkyl halide will be the major product, and the 1-degree alkyl halide will be the minor product. But now, if you want to see with the concept of more alkylated carbon atom, then you can see here this carbon atom on the left hand side has the alkyl group attached to it. So this is more alkylated. You can see here that this has less number of hydrogen atom, whereas this one is less alkylated. So this is on the right hand side and it has more number of hydrogen atom. So now if you take the concept of more alkylated and the less alkylated as per the Markovnikov rule, electrophile will go to the carbon atom which is less alkylated or which has more number of the hydrogen atom. So the H plus ion will go to this carbon atom which is on the right hand side, whereas the halogen will go to the carbon atom which is on the left hand side. So either way you want to learn, you can consider that. But just remember that the carbon atom which is less alkylated or has more number of hydrogen atom, that will have the addition of electrophile, which is H plus ion here, and the carbon atom which is more alkylated or which has less number of hydrogen atom will have the addition of nucleophile, which in this case will be the halogen, right? Now let's proceed further. The presence of polar covalent hydrogen halide. Now, this is the second condition for the Markovnikov's rule, the presence of polar covalent hydrogen halide. So, the polar protic hydrogen halide have partial positive charge on the hydrogen atom as it is less electronegative than the halogen, while the halogen, either chlorine or the bromine, acquires partial negative charge due to more electronegativity. As you can see here that the bromine is partially negative charge and the hydrogen is partially positive charge in the case of the hydrogen bromide, and in the case of the hydrogen chloride, hydrogen is partial positive charge and the chlorine is partial negative charge. So if we consider the polar covalent bond between the hydrogen and bromine and between hydrogen and chlorine, here the shared pair of electrons will not be equally distributed. It will be drifted towards the bromine because bromine is more electronegative than the hydrogen atom. So the bromine will acquire partial negative charge and the hydrogen will acquire the partial positive charge. So that is why it is a polar covalent hydrogen halide. Same case in the case of the chlorine. Chlorine is more electronegative than the hydrogen atom. So the shared pair of electrons will get drifted more towards the chlorine atom. So the chlorine atom will acquire the partial negative charge, whereas the hydrogen will acquire the partial positive charge. So that is why it is a polar covalent hydrogen halide. Now the question arises why we need this separation of the charges or the charge separation, why we need the partial charge, negative charge and the partial positive charge. What will happen due to the presence of this partial positive and partial negative charge? Why we are taking polar covalent hydrogen halides, not non-polar? So the answer is the presence of polar covalent halide helps in electromeric effect to occur in alkene due to the presence of pi electrons of the double bond. I would like to explain you one thing, that this partial positive and partial negative charge on the halide that will attract the pi electron. This bond is the pi electrons of the unsymmetrical alkene, right? So this pi electron will get attracted towards the partial positive charge of the hydrogen atom in that case. Now, because of this attraction, what is going to happen? The first thing is that in the case of the hydrogen halide, the heterolysis will take place. I'm going to explain you that, and the hydrogen will acquire the positive charge. It will become an electrophile, and the halogen will acquire the negative charge. It will have the shared pair of electrons towards it and it will become a nucleophile. So this will be an electrophile and this will be the nucleophile, right? The second parameter we need to understand, what will happen to this pi electron. This pi electron has two ways to go. Now, as this pi electron is getting attracted towards the electrophile, so in that case, it has to go to the either of the carbon atoms which is attached to the double bond. This first bond is the sigma bond, right? So this will not be broken down, nothing will happen to it. This is the pi electron which is going to move. Now it has two ways of moving. Either it can go to the carbon atom on the left hand side. Okay, so what is going to happen in this case? The carbon atom on the left hand side will acquire negative charge, whereas on the right hand side will acquire the positive charge. But we can see here that here we have the R, that is the alkyl group. This alkyl group is electron releasing group. You can see here that this alkyl group, which is electron releasing group, is releasing the electrons towards the carbon atom attached to the double bond. Now, when the pi electron will try to come on the carbon atom on the left hand side, which is attached to the alkyl group, due to this, the electrons released by this alkyl group and this pi electron, there will be repulsion and this structure will not be stable. So in that case, it won't happen. Now, the second route is that the pi electron go to the carbon atom which is away from the alkyl group and it is on the right hand side. So as this R is electron releasing group, so I would like to tell you that due to the plus I effect of alkyl group, the pi electrons of the double bond drifts away from the carbon with which the alkyl group is attached due to repulsion, as I've explained you here, and goes to the carbon atom away from the alkyl group. This structure will be like this. Here you have the negative charge and here will be the positive charge. This will be a stable. I would like to tell here the presence of the alkyl groups here are alkyl groups due to the plus I effect defines the side on which carbon atom the pi electron will go. As a rule, it will never go to the carbon atom which is attached to the alkyl group because of the plus I effect due to the repulsion, as I've explained you here. It will always go on the other side of the carbon atom which is not attached to the alkyl group, right? So that is the reason we need to have a polar covalent hydrogen halide, because that is going to initiate the movement of the pi electrons either towards the left or towards the right hand side of the double bond. This is what we call it as an electromeric effect. And in this, we have to consider the inductive effect also due to the alkyl groups. As the alkyl groups are electron releasing groups, so it will have plus I effect and they are going to release the electrons. And due to the repulsion, you can see here that the carbon atom attached to the alkyl group cannot have the negative charge. The other carbon atom will have the negative charge, right? We are done with all the parameters, all the conditions necessary for the Markovnikov rule. Now it's time to understand the mechanism. So the first thing in the mechanism is the generation of electrophile and the nucleophile. Electrophiles are electron deficient, so we call them are electrons loving. So electrophiles are basically electron loving, whereas nucleophiles are nucleus loving. I have explained this detail in my other video. Right now, I won't discuss about the different type of electrophiles and the nucleophiles. Right now, for us, electrophile is the ion with the positive charge and the nucleophile will be the ion with the negative charge, right? Okay, so here when we are taking the hydrogen halide, in that case, as I've explained you, that the heterolytic cleavage or the fission will take place. The cleavage in which both the electrons are taken by the more electronegative atom. It results in formation of electrophile and the nucleophile. So you can see here that the heterolysis cleavage will take place. So the hydrogen will lose both the electrons to the halogen and it will acquire positive charge and the halogen will acquire the negative charge. Hydrogen atom will become hydrogen ion and that will become an electrophile, whereas the halogen atom will become an halogen ion, that is a nucleophile with a negative charge. So here we are taking an example of the hydrogen bromide. So the cleavage will take place, which is heterolysis, and the hydrogen ion and the bromide ion is formed. Hydrogen ion will behave like an electrophile, whereas the bromide ion will behave like a nucleophile. So The first step in the Markovnikov's rule is the electrophilic attack. That is a step one, slow step for the reaction to take place. So I'm going to take an unsymmetrical alkene and a polar halogen halide. So first of all, here the heterolysis will take place, right? So it is going to form the hydrogen ion and the halide ion with the electrons, which are shared pair of electrons. And this is our alkyl group, which is electron releasing group, and it is releasing the electrons towards this carbon atom. So as I've told you, the pi electrons of the double bond will go to the carbon atom which is away from the alkyl group, because this, due to the plus I effect, that is the plus I inductive effect, going to release the electrons and towards the carbon atom which is on the left hand side. So this pi electron will move to the carbon atom which is on the right hand side, as I have discussed. So what is going to happen? It is going to form in which the carbon on the right hand side acquire the negative charge and the carbon on the left hand side acquire the positive charge, and the hydrogen ion is formed, which is an electrophile, and the halide ion is formed, which is a nucleophile. So remember one thing, that in any reaction where you have the electrophilic attack and the nucleophilic attack, at first the electrophilic attack takes place, which is a slow step, and then the nucleophilic attack takes place. So here in this case, this hydrogen is an electrophile, whereas this halide ion is a nucleophile. So the electrophilic attack will take place. You can use the richer gets richer. That means this hydrogen ion will get attached to the carbon atom which has more number of hydrogen. So this is the electrophilic attack and the addition, you can say. Now the structure will look like this. This will have the positive charge, and this is CH2 and H. This will result in the primary carbocation. Now our second step is the attack of the nucleophile. So I can write the carbocation like this, and instead of writing it like CH2 and H, I am going to write it down as the CH3. And now this is the nucleophile, and the attack of the nucleophile will take place. So this nucleophile will get attached to the carbon atom with the positive charge. So this is the nucleophilic attack and the addition. So now the structure will be R. This is CH. This is the halogen, and this is CH3. So you can see here that the major product is your 2-degree alkyl halide, or what we call it as the secondary alkyl halide, and the minor product will be the primary alkyl halide. Is that clear? So this will be the major product for what we are understanding this mechanism, and this will be the minor, that is, so this is 2-degree alkyl halide and this is 1-degree alkyl halide, right? So now you can just see here. So this was the mechanism of the Markovnikov's rule. So I repeat, the richer gets richer. So it's quite easy if you want to learn it in this way. That is CH and this is CH3, and the halogen will get attached to it. So you will get the 2-degree alkyl halide and the 1-degree alkyl halide, which will be your minor product. So this is 2-degree alkyl halide and this is 1-degree alkyl halide. This is your major product and this is your minor product. So now the mechanism of Markovnikov's rule ends here. Thank you very much for watching this video. This video ends here. In our next videos, we have discussed about the mechanism of haloform test, electrophilic substitution reactions, SN1 reactions, SN2 reactions, elimination reactions, and the substitution reactions. So for more videos, please visit our YouTube channel, Trans E Learning. Have a great day.